We'll give it a second. All right. Everybody ready? Clock's wrong. We got 1 minute. Wait a minute. The maintenance folks.
When it gets repaired, it'll be that time again.
Be six. As soon as I start a minute early, I'll get in trouble.
You'll get a call about it.
But we're being recorded, so everybody can see that we're getting ready and anticipating. There we go. Y'all ready? I want to welcome everybody to March 17th, 2020 meeting. Official time 6 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Approve agenda at this time.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I second the motion to approve the agenda.
Very good. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Before I get started, we've got to pass out this for, talk to Kemp today and give us some suggestions and whatnot, but we want to thank you for attending tonight's Board of Commissioners meeting. In light of the COVID-19 situation, we ask that you follow the guidelines below. No shaking hands or elbow bumping, as we was told today. We can't be the Southern gentlemen and give these young ladies a hug like we're supposed to. We got plenty of time for that later when everybody gets over this. Keep as much distance between you and other attending as possible. If you have a cough or sneeze, please cough or sneeze inside your elbow. Please refrain from touching your face, and if you're sick, please consider watching this meeting online rather than attending. That time, I'd like the invocation to pledge night. It's our honor, Anthony Brown, pastor of Hillsboro Baptist Church and the Jones County resident, is going to lead us in our invocation and pledge. You come right up now.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for this time, Lord. We thank you for the opportunity to come together. And Father, I thank you for the great minds that are sitting here ready to discuss business. I pray, God, that you'll be with them, that you'll give them your spiritual wisdom so that they can discuss business properly. And Father, I pray, God, that in the meantime that you'll continue to bless them in their time of coming out and doing service with this COVID-19. I pray, God, that you'll bless them, help them to stay safe, keep them well, keep their families well. And Father, help us all to be a willing servant to you through this community. Be with us, be with each one of them, lead, guide, and direct. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's right.
Was this for me or to pass around? Take a picture.
Hey.
We'll move on tonight. No planning zoning, no board appointments. We got consent agenda approval of the minutes. We had a work session on March 3rd, 2020 at 5 o'clock. We also had another work session March 3rd, 2020 at 5:30. The first Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020, an executive session that night, March 3rd, 2020. Everybody's had opportunity to look at the minutes. If there's no changes, I'll take a motion to approve the. So moved. So moved. We have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. New business. We won't have Malden and Jenkins tonight. We're going to do that at a later date when it's more feasible to do that. Everything that all our state reporting has been turned in, so this is not a push presentation for tonight. Truck purchases. Well, the sheriff come up.
While he's on his way, do we have a motion to approve or accept the findings or any work that they did?
We haven't heard the finding.
Okay, I was just curious if
Yeah, we got.
I saw the email, that's why I asked.
Oh, okay. Do we
Okay.
need to approve the finding? We don't know what the finding is.
We need to have a motion. Levita said that this was going to be rescheduled on what?
The second meeting in April.
Okay, so let's have a motion to table this until April 2nd meeting.
All right.
Motion to table to the second meeting in April.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Keep us straight.
Now the sheriff.
Sheriff,
We,
it's all yours.
I filled the position of my last position of investigator about a month ago, and we don't have a vehicle for the investigator ride in. And I'm proposing that we buy a pickup, a F-150 Ford police responder. It's from Brannan Motor Company. It's $34,900. That's below the state contract. Wade has a state contract, but they can't get this vehicle. It's the police responder. Like I say, we don't have a vehicle. We're not replacing one. We're basically adding one here. And we do have a program that I've given Jason where we keep up with the cost of our vehicles. But in this instance, we're like I say, we're not replacing anything. And this will be our first purchase under the splash. Dodge didn't make 20 pursuit cars, so we weren't able to get any this year. And so this will be the only vehicle we purchased this year.
So we're just hoping that the vehicle, what do we do? You have to replace one, I guess that's.
We're running close after, we're waiting to hear what insurance company is going to replace the one that we had the wreck recently in.
They gonna be able to replace it, or?
They're gonna give us some money for it, but equipment-wise, we'll do pretty well with equipment. But the vehicle had a little age on it, but we should, if push comes to shove, we'll just buy a used vehicle somewhere and try to get by with it till next year that they make the 21, 22.
Right, so that basically was total, wasn't it?
Yes, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The deputy in good, I mean,
He's having more surgery. I hope he can come back, but it's gonna be a long process for him.
if our prayers are with it.
So
Any questions for the sheriff?
I gotta ask my question.
Sure.
So out of curiosity, would you be interested in trying an electric vehicle?
No, sir, and I'll tell you why, not for an investigator, because
Oh, yeah.
one, they're out a little more than the deputies, road terrain and stuff when they're out. And this is going to a drug investigator.
Right, not for this, but I'm just
Sure,
talking in
but,
general.
I
Okay.
can, for a jail administrator or something like that, yes, but patrol, we've looked into those, read a lot of articles. I think you and I discussed that way back, and we've looked at a lot of articles, and the length of the mileage, we put more mileage on them than one battery charge will do at this point until they get better technology.
You're doing more than 300 miles?
Yes, sir.
Let's say,
Yeah.
basically a runner.
We run from 250 to nearly 370.
Okay.
See, some of them have to, like, late this afternoon, one had to leave to go to Nashville, Georgia.
Right. I'm just thinking locally because Sam and I both are on
Sure.
for Clean Air, and we have a couple of charging station opportunities I think that might make sense. So,
Several years ago, we applied for a grant to get one, and we were turned down. I think y'all might have taken the car or something from us, matter of fact, of some type vehicle. And, so, way back, the other
Way
administration.
back,
Yeah.
before y'all's time,
that was an LP.
some of y'all's time.
We'll work on the gas. We'll work on electrical.
Sure.
All right. Thanks.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
So I made the motion, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead,
it is
question.
coming from Spalls.
Yes, sir, it's Splash.
Mr. Chair, I made the motion, we approve the truck purchase for the sheriff department come from SPOS funds.
Have a motion? Have a second for the purchase? Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Did we do that right? You were smiling. You act like you're getting ready to get on
No, not right yet.
there. Not right yet, okay, we're done.
She advised me if things were going bad to start coughing and get out of breath a little bit up here, and I might move it on a little quicker. So,
You notice I got two young ladies on either side to keep me straight, and one sitting right about there that will back them up if they miss something. So,
Well, if we're gonna break the law, at least we're breaking it with the sheriff, right?
Administrative expansion with seized funds. You want to talk to us about your
What we
field
want to
project?
do with this is add more investigative offices. We're sort of cramped space back there. We propose using asset forfeiture seized funds to pay for it. We want to, naturally get somebody to do the floor, do the brickwork, the inside, sheetrock, painting, things of that nature we can do, not the electrical, but we think we have enough funds to be able to do this. It would come directly behind the administrative part, same type brick and everything, but it would, we'd move the investigators and some of the secretaries where they are and give us more office space and interview rooms.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Do you have somebody that oversees maintenance?
We have a
oversees-
maintenance man, yes, sir.
I know, my guy was helping with a lot of that stuff, and I was wondering, make sure you still had somebody.
Yes, sir, we got,
Okay.
Wayne does all of it for us.
We have a
Motion to approve administrative expansion with seized funds for the sheriff's office.
All right. Have a
Second.
Have a second? Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
If you got,
You
you
got
got,
done.
Mr. Douglas back there gonna, Sheriff, you got Mr. Douglas gonna speak later on your behalf on the comments?
He's gonna give an update on the fireworks and everything in the jail.
Okay,
He and Don worked all day trying to get a plan for it.
I appreciate it, Sheriff.
Thank
Chairman, we
you.
had him a chair last time, and that's gone. Well, I mean, that's what happens when you don't show up for like 7 months, 8 months.
Well testing, Commissioner Kitchen?
Yes, Chairman, we talked a little bit about it the last meeting, and so we would move to this one for approval. So we've gotten back, and this is in reference to the, it's about 12 well sites up in Juliet where they've had some concerns. If y'all been listening in on the news, Monroe County had had some wells tested by the Altamaha River Keeper, some tested by Georgia Power, and then some by some funding that the county had put in. Those have pretty much, the funds have dried up. They were looking at allocating more funds to do it. Now they have been in contact with our state legislators and attempting to get some money passed down for the county to test some more wells around the hotspot area. I don't know how long that's going to take, so I asked you guys the last meeting to look at 12 wells that were requested of us in a 2-mile radius from where the ash ponds are, but are on Jones County side. And so we've gotten that back, and it's basically it will be completely done by an outside agency where we have no hands-on. But it's $1,940 for 12 tests. That's collect the samples, send them off, have them tested, sent back, and the reports filed on them.
Any questions for Commissioner Kitchen?
These all county wells, right?
Yes. No, they're private wells,
Private well.
and which is why we're not testing them.
So we can use county funds to test the individual wells?
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm jumping in.
And I apologize, I wasn't here the last
That was
time.
the question I asked.
Okay.
So I researched that in regards to it would really be sort of a gratuities clause question, because it's county wells really for the benefit of these private homeowners. I think you could get around gratuities violation by the issue that it really affects sort of the safety and well-being of the public. You could also argue it's to investigate a nuisance. I think more of the problem, which Monroe County has backed out of testing right now, or they put it on pause because this money's been allocated, and they're also in touch with an environmental firm, law firm in Atlanta, as far as the best steps for the county to take before they jump into testing these private wells, because you could get into a situation where, based on the findings, who's responsible for, if it's contaminated, who's responsible for that issue, liability issues. And so it may be something that legally we want to look a little bit more into before we jump into having county funds applied to testing the wells. Because there could be some other issues based on even the findings that we need to flesh out a little bit.
Can we have that? No, can we have that researched by the next meeting? And the only reason I push for urgency is we don't know right now if they're drinking bad water.
Right.
And that's their concern is if it's bad, I want to know it so I can take alternative measures to do it. And I definitely want a legal opinion on whether we do it the right way. I think there ought to be a way that we can do it. If we had, and we've had this in a part of our county where we've had a sewer main overflow and run onto somebody's property, private property, we go on that property and clean it up. We don't let it be a safety issue or a sanitary issue or public health issue. And I think, I agree 100%. We don't, which is why we don't want to be involved with finger pointing or involved with who the problem originated from. we know it didn't originate from us because we're 11 miles from the nearest well and we don't put anything in the ground. But that was my intent for having a third-party tester, collector, a third-party tester, and the test results going right to the homeowner, so they do what they want with it. We don't touch it at all, other than the funding source, because to me, it's an issue that our residents, we know didn't come from us.
And it may, for their safety, they may, it may be prudent just to buy bottled water until we can flush this out. But another thing, I was told sort of the same thing that you were told by their Monroe County attorney, is that they have contracted with an engineering firm and are looking to make a big investment into running water out to these residents. And they said as well that it may be something that they would seriously consider, since they're already going to make such a large investment in getting water to that area, just to go ahead and service the residents that we have out there, which would solve a lot of problems. So,
Yes, sir. The question is, why wouldn't they have their water tested themselves?
I think that was part of the meeting that I went to, a resident meeting, that they basically said at that time, to have it done there, for them to have it done, they were looking at $300 to $400 a piece. And they just said that, a lot of them couldn't afford it, and they were asking some help from the county. Basically, if we would do a 12-well test, the closest ones to it, then the other 100 or 200 residents in that area would feel more comfortable if there were no positive showings in those wells, since they're the closest to it. And I just said, I would ask the commission to pay for that.
We need a motion for the next meeting?
if we could postpone till the next meeting so that I could get you all some additional information. that would-
Motion to table the well testing conversation till the next meeting, Chairman.
We have a motion, we have a second,
Second. And
and the
I've got
discussion, go
something-
ahead.
Something that might be pertaining to it. I don't know if it's passed or if it's on hold, but there was talk of $500,000 being allocated in the state of Georgia for this very thing.
That's what
what
she was
you're talking
talking
about?
about. Yes,
So
sir.
that the EPD has, a portion has set aside, $500,000
Okay.
for well testings and things of that nature. Monroe County does not have a timeline yet from the EPD as far as when those funds would be released. Their attorney said that he would keep me updated, any updates that they received. That's a little bit of a separate issue than the environmental firm, that they're also discussing this issue with, but that is another possibility, and I hopefully will have some more information regarding a timeline, regarding the disbursement of those funds. I would hope by the next meeting, but who knows with
And Corona and everything.
with Corona as far as
Any
how
more,
quickly.
any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Roll-off truck purchase, Mr. Lowe?
How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good to you.
One of our roll-off trucks that had the motor overhauled about 4 years ago,
3.5.
3.5, 4.
I signed a check for it.
Anyway, it is no longer no good. The motor,
If it's no longer no good, that means it'd be good, right?
Yeah.
That double negative.
it had a pipe that ran from the air intake to the turbos, got a hole in it, and it was on the inside, and you could not see it when you checked the oil, and I reckon there ain't no telling what all it done sucked in it, and messed it up. And I got a price from Cat, 'cause a Cat engine in it, you're looking at about $30,000 to do a complete rebuild on it. And I don't want to spend $30,000 on it.
In a truck that we've already rebuilt it once.
Right, and it's got 600-something thousand miles on it. And
that would
it's
probably
16 years old. I would rather get another new one, and we wouldn't have anything to worry about.
Right.
This was one you planned on being your spare because it was the newest motor.
Right. But I got a price on a new one. This is a 2021. The one that we got before, just a regular roll-off truck, was a 2019. It was like 173. This one here, same truck. It's got the extended warranty and everything on it. It's 182,316.
No more 2019s available?
Huh?
There was no more 2019s available in the system?
Nope. Cause I asked him about it.
No 2018s?
How many trucks would this, I mean, it will still crank up and run, it's just blowing oil all over the place.
Right. I'm talking about everywhere, coming out the dipstick, the blow-by. Yes, it's pretty bad.
How many trucks would this give you could go to auction then? 3?
And then I got that F-450 dually Ford that we're still waiting on the other truck from Alan Virgil and them. But I come to y'all tonight to ask, can we get this? I mean, it'd be paid out of Splash. I got enough money in there.
Right. But is this something that we at least bid out just to see if there are any other better prices out
Well,
there?
this
or-
is state contract.
Okay, state,
State
okay,
contract.
okay.
And just out of curiosity, the leasing programs that we've looked at, was that even considered for this particular vehicle?
Leasing?
Just like every,
I hadn't checked on that now. I imagine it'll be pretty high on a roll-off truck to lease.
Well, you know what the average mileage is a year on one?
I mean, them trucks in a day's time, they probably put, maybe, say, 300 to maybe 400 miles on 'em. I mean, they out there every day running.
Where they have to go when they get there.
And plus, the bad thing about it, you know, our route got changed. So we have to go down Gray Highway to make them and go in that way.
Yeah, I don't think that would be a good candidate for a lease program just based on the mileage.
Why did the route get changed?
Sorry.
You said your route got changed.
Well, that little quarter of a mile down there on Henderson Road, Twiggs County stopped us from coming through there.
Is that right?
Yeah. From the county line to 57, it ain't about a quarter of a mile. And they stopped us. They said they start giving out tickets if trucks keep running.
What was the reason? Just because of the weights of the truck, or?
I mean, there's other trucks run through there too. I don't know if they stopped them or not. but
Right.
We stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what exactly would the ticket be for? I mean, it has to be a violation of the law for them to issue you a
Overweight.
ticket.
They're over 30,000
Overweight.
pounds.
Oh. I was gonna say.
15, it's a 15-ton limit there.
Okay,
Even on a light load, they're gonna be over.
they're gonna be
overweight.
over, okay,
They probably over empty,
okay.
Close.
especially Russell with that truck. Now, the other trucks might not be.
Are we still, maintaining Baker Road for them?
No.
Good.
Have you rode down that lately? Man, there's some potholes down there, big as a motor grader
Well,
tire.
when we were maintaining it, it was really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting called up, want to know why we're not scraping it, and I had to let them know it wasn't in our county anymore.
So the elephant in the room that we've been talking about, we've been saying, you know, we're gonna approve replacement vehicles until we got the list, and we're gonna see, you know, based on mileage and criteria and all that. You know, are we separating a truck that's no longer usable as a replacement as to, I'm trying to trade one in and upgrade, or how are we doing that? And the second part of that question was, where are we on the list? Has everybody got their information to Jason so we can?
It's coming in, I have to look back and see what the deadline was. It's coming up pretty quick for getting all that information back to me. And I think we had it timed out so that we could bring it to you the first meeting in April.
Well, if another truck goes down, then we got a serious problem.
That was my second part of that. If, you know, if the truck's not usable, I don't have any doubt in my mind that 600,000 miles is not, if it doesn't meet the criteria, then I don't think we're gonna, then the criteria probably needs to be looked at. But, I mean, I don't think that it's not, but I do wanna stay fair to what we said, and if we're gonna wait on the list, so I guess two-part question. Are you dead in the water, or if you have one truck go down, you dead in the water, part A, and part B?
I got another truck,
Can it
the
wait till
old
April?
Mac, but it's, I mean, heck, it could break down too. I mean, it's been sitting now for probably a month or longer.
Can it wait till the first week in April and we get, because I know we've had a couple of people in here. I know Don's asked about his rescue trucks that got high mileage on them. And
I mean, we can wait.
I
mean,
honestly,
if push come to shove, I call, Nick Cameron. I mean, he's helped us out, you know, but that costs, I mean, he charges, I think, $300 a can when he come picks one up and take it down yonder and dump it.
well, personally, I don't think there's any way we're not going to need to replace a 600,000 mile truck that's already had a motor rebuilt 3 years ago. So I'm good either way. I want to stay true to what we said that we would do on other vehicles, but I see this as one that's probably a no-brainer when we get there at next month's meeting anyway.
That's fine.
On a great note, the investment we made with Russell's truck on the grapple, he said some of the convenience centers, he's able to get as many as 4 cans with one trip. The one that's been, the areas that's been compacted, you know, throughout the
Right,
weekend.
right.
He said he can get 2 of those cans, so worst scenario, we're making 2 trips to 1 with that investment, so, in some of the areas, I think, whatever convenience center he goes to that's not compacted, he said he can literally pick up 4 cans when he goes. He said they can be full, and he can, because they weren't compacted with a backhoe or excavator.
Right.
That he can
But
actually,
usually on the weekends, we pack them because nobody's running. I mean, you know.
Right.
but he said he can get, a lot of times people at a convenience center get 4 cans. That would be 4 trips we used to make that we're not
We
making.
usually, like Overland over there, he makes 3 runs, he can about empty the whole place with 3 runs.
I was watching him the other day. I think I was making him nervous. I said, I better go. He had it. I watched him put 2 full cans in there, and it was, you know, I said, that's what we paid for.
Can we put it on the agenda? First meeting in April?
I have a motion to postpone to the first meeting in April.
Is that a motion?
Our motion to postpone.
For the first meeting there. Do we have a second for
I
postpone?
second the motion to postpone to the first meeting in April.
Any more discussion?
Commissioner
We roll off.
How long does it take to get the truck once you order it?
Second.
How long does it take to get the truck once you order it?
The way the guy talked, they are making this truck right now. So I think he told me by the 16th of April, it'll
Okay.
probably be ready.
Okay. All right.
So that won't, you really ain't gonna delay you anyhow.
Not really.
Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
I ain't going nowhere.
That's right, you here for a
You're
while.
gonna be here a while. Awarded 2020.
But I'm gonna get Jason to help me out on these.
All right, LMIG 2020. Mr. Risner? You gonna help, John on the 2020? LMIG?
Yeah, we had 3, 4 here.
There's some paper
On the LMIG, Reeves Construction, they was $826,909.20.
Okay, thank you.
And that was on, all of it.
The base bid. So
That was just the base bid? Okay. And the alternates, we probably not gonna fool with any of that stuff, I don't imagine. Then we had another company, they was $1,071,522.85. Then C.W. Matthews, they was $969,742.30. And then the last one down there, Sneaker Brothers, they was $842,823.30. So Reeves was the lowest.
I mean, Reeves was Jones County Company too, so.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And that's who we would like to go with. Reeves.
Still move?
Yeah.
Okay, second. Go with Reeves.
For Reeves?
Yes.
All right, have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
What about striping?
Your
That's
striping bid.
next.
This is it.
Okay. Yeah, the striping, we had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, had 6 of them.
So we only got 5 right here.
Is it 5?
Yes, sir.
5 of them. In mid-state striping, they down there off of Old Macon Road.
Okay.
I think their office is out of Edenton, but they do a lot out from down here. They was the cheapest on the $25,300. P, they was $35,900. Mid-States Construction and Striping, they was $30,000. And then we had this Low Rob Green Lovett. They was $79,112. And then, the other one was $34,900. And I'd like to go with Mid-State because they do a good job.
They weren't, I can't remember the road, but there was a road that was done either last spring where the striping was so horrible. I can't remember if it was off Great Highway near Roberts Road. I was just making sure it wasn't Mid-State or anybody else, because there was somebody.
It wasn't Mid-State Striping.
Okay.
Last year, we
They want-
included, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That wasn't one did your stagecoach, was it?
Whoever did Stagecoach, we called them. They did it under
Reeves.
Reeves. And we called them and they came back out and fixed it all.
Okay,
of
yeah,
us.
I just couldn't-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not happy. with
Oh, I wasn't either.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
But they came back out and erased all the lines and restriped them the way they were supposed to, so I was happy with it.
That was Peak, last year
Oh.
that was a subcontractor for
Reeves.
Reeves, yeah.
Who just bid on this one? Okay.
So this year, we went back to bidding it out separately.
That way we can control who does it.
Good idea. Motion to approve Mid-State striping.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Still up there, Mr. Lowe. Roadside spraying.
Yep, we had, 3 prices on that. Kim Pro was $110 per acre. This is on dirt roads, no paved roads. Precision spraying, they was $156.50. And then Nature Chem, which I don't know a whole lot about. I know they gave us 2 in Georgia and 1 in South Carolina as a reference. So they must not be doing a whole lot in Georgia from what I'm gathering. I know Sam, he probably knows a little bit more about it than I do.
Well, I didn't until I saw the name and Googled it. So I'd never heard of them, and so I just Googled the name, and I think they're a North Carolina company. And the first thing that shows up is some issues with lawsuits and fines from OSHA and some, I got some concerns about, and I granted, well, there's one in 2019, but there was some in 2004, 2007, 2012, and most of them were either not spraying adequately or spraying in the wrong places. One was a lawsuit against spraying near a child care where some kids got overspray on them, and it was not pretty. So all that was from a Google search this morning, and
Motion to approve Kim Pro?
yeah, I would motion to approve to go with, and I think that's who we're using now, right, John? And you were okay with them?
I mean, it's not but $12 difference per acre.
Yeah.
I've been satisfied with them.
Yeah, motion to go with the second lowest bidder, Kim Pro, based on background information that we found.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
No opposed.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. AARP grant application, Mr. Risner?
So at the last meeting, we talked some about the AARP grant, and since then, I met with Greg Boyke, Ann Carter from the Senior Center, and a representative from the Middle Georgia Community Action Agency. They're the entity that runs our Senior Center. The Regional Commission did agree to come on board and help us with the grant application. And so we met last Thursday, I believe it was, to start putting together some information, helping the Regional Commission with what they needed there. Had a good productive meeting. Talked about some fencing around the community garden area there, and during that conversation, we also talked about maybe doing not a covered patio kind of thing, but maybe a gazebo type, somewhere for them to sit outside and to get outside. They said they really like to be outdoors and do that kind of thing. So we're going to try to look to incorporate that into the application too, if that's okay. So just wanted to come before you tonight and give that update and ask for your approval to submit that grant application.
So, Mr. Chairman, without any questions, Mr. Chairman, I made the motion we approve Jason's recommendation for the AARP grant application.
Second.
I have a second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
I have it. Any more approved? No approved. All right, thank you. Certified volunteer, Mr. Phipps?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I sent some information to all the commissioners, and my goal is to get the gym open at the Government Center gym here. We had a guy, Vern, in there, but moved on Highway to 49 because it was needed there. And during the summer months, I want to make sure we can have some volunteers to try to help, get the gym open so kids can have something to do. And I got some good feedback from the commissioners about, start out maybe just 10 volunteers, just getting it started, just to see how it goes. Because if it doesn't work, we can pull it back in versus having too many volunteers. And then we came with the number maybe 20 participants playing basketball or pickleball. Instead, they would always let Parks and Recreation know what's going on so that, look, things are getting out of hand. Then Parks and Recreation can come in and actually say, look, the gym is going to be closed because the supervisor or the volunteer doesn't feel comfortable supervising the staff. Or that means the participants. And I had a proposed schedule whereas you can reserve the AM or PM of that day. You can call back on a regular basis or daily to determine if there's slots available so you don't have one volunteer try to get the whole week. You want to have it open and accessible for volunteers. And Commissioner Martin mentioned that with Vern, he's open in the afternoons on Highway 49, so maybe we could look at some hours over there for the certified volunteers to volunteer there too. So I just want to get the commissioner's thoughts. Matt can give us some input on his thoughts of trying to get the gym open for kids pretty much during the summer months. Another item that I had in there is with the summer feeding program. Then some of the kids, they can benefit from that. They can come eat lunch while they're up here playing basketball, volleyball, pickleball, or whatever the case may be. So I just want to get some additional feedback from the commissioners and determine if there's something we can move forward with or we need to do some more research.
Any questions or comments?
I had a couple little things. Are we going, I know it was in the proposal that the county pay for the training and the background check and things of that nature. do you want to consider sort of laying out, if the county is having this expenditure to qualify the person as a certified volunteer, that they're obligated then to actually volunteer, so many hours in a month, or,
Right. And that's fine. That's why I wanted to put those steps in place, because if a person's, my thought was if they're willing to go through those steps and those hurdles, then I really want to volunteer. I'm not just going to, because I can sign up for one thing, but now I got to go through sportsmanship training, I go through first aid and CPR training, and I got to sign a waiver. Yeah, I'm serious about volunteering, because that could be
Yeah.
up to 3 hours of my time right there, just getting certified.
Maybe say they're agreeing to commit to volunteering at least 5 hours a month, or,
Okay.
or, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just sort of
So whatever that
some
number's,
skin in the game for
Right.
the county.
right, for that
making that
expense.
expenditure.
Because what it is, I saw is also as a somewhat of a cost savings, because maybe in the future we do move to a sports coordinator where you have to pay someone, but for right now, I don't think the board is ready to move in that direction. So, to pay roughly a couple $100, to get somebody certified, because we may be able to host a certification here. And I may pay an instructor $200. You got 10 people show up, you get it all done, and they're all certified, that one day.
And then the other thing would be who's in charge of or approving or overseeing those first 10
Volunteers.
volunteers and the subsequent applicants. Who oversees, okay, you're going to be our first 10.
So I would go as a first come, first served basis, the first 10 that sign up. And with it, and like I said, this is pretty much for the summer. And I come up with like a pilot program. I review it after the summer to determine if something we want to move forward with, some things we want to tweak. So I like the idea of doing maybe a volunteer has to obligate to at least 4 hours, and then they have to call Matt or someone in Parks and Recreation to schedule their time. And at that time, Matt can let them know the gym is not available. They got the consignment sale going this week, so you can't use it, or whatever things already been reserved for, whatever somebody else has reserved the gym for. So it would always go through Parks and Recreation. They can let them know, because they're going to let them know we're going to play basketball, volleyball, pickleball, whatever it's going to be. So Matt and his team knows what's going on in the gym. And it was even brought up one time about possibly putting cameras in there, if the board feels that another safety measure. So Jason can take a peek at it, Matt can take a peek at it, see what's going on during those hours. I think those are all little small investments we can make just for the betterment of the kids in the community.
So until today, I did not know that gym was not open and not serving youth. I'm just being honest. And that bothers me, because I'm about equity. If 49 is open, the government center should be open. So to me, that's a salaried position or part-time, however we need to do it, because there's a large number of kids up here that need to play, and especially need to play right now, like right now.
Right.
Because they're at home and somebody's parents is going crazy. Or maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I would be. But, yeah, so, to Matt and to the board, one, there should be equity in the funding for the position. So if we've got Vern over there and he's 30 hours a week, we should have somebody over here 30 hours a week. I think this is a great idea, but I thought it was just a gap to fill the other hours that weren't open.
It's not bad at all.
So I didn't know. It's been closed ever since Vern's been on 49?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's an either or, huh? No.
Whoa. And to be honest, with funding that we have available, I think the youth in that particular space at $300 a week, that is kind of silly to not have the gym open. So while you're going after the certified volunteer, I'm thinking we need to have somebody up here working the gym. Matt?
It's always a tough thing, because I don't want to feel like I'm coming up here speaking against the commissioner's wishes. My concern with a certified volunteer is Don becomes a certified volunteer. Don goes in there at 10 a.m. to do his thing with his 12 people, because whatever. It's public that the gym may be open, because this is going to become public that the gym may be open. 5 people show up that were not part of his 12. Or you allow them to come in, or you tell them, no, you cannot come in. They want to come in and shoot basketball while you're playing table tennis, or you're playing. How do you control that? So now I'm mad because you're telling me I can't come in. Wait a minute, this is a public gym. How come I can't come in? These are what if scenarios. I get that. But it's a very, without having a county staff member, are we giving that volunteer the authority to tell someone to leave? or they cannot come in because they're the ones responsible for the gym during that duration. How do you
I
handle
guess
that?
what my initial answer would be, because I am the volunteer then, this is, I guess, my gym from 9 to 12. And then you have to almost reserve it for the next session that is available.
You
Because I
said
don't- go ahead.
Your proposal was that they reserve that.
Right, because you're
certain
reserving,
time.
right, you're reserving the gym, because you're not gonna reserve all day, it's just the morning, from 9 to 12, I've got the gym for basketball. Or from 1 until 4, you got it for pickleball, or whatever that volunteer wants to do, because that volunteer has to feel comfortable supervising those people. That's why I want to be able to call Parks and Recreation at any time. I show up my guys, and I'm saying, I want to play, and that volunteer like, no, I can't handle this, Parks and Recreation, they come in, and they make that determination or inform. It's almost like, just a thought is, at the park, you may have reserved the pavilion or something like that. And you got to tell somebody, I'm sorry, but this pavilion's been reserved from 9 to 12. And
The difference with that, though, is that's a paid reservation
Okay.
versus our
Yeah, and one of the quick comments that I had for you that I think is going to be something else, and I think Commissioner Martin hit on it in our conversations about, we have a lot of certified volunteers now that may have to go one more step to be a certified volunteer for this, like all of our coaches and all that have, whether it's rec league, track, baseball, football, whatever, have gone through 90% of our requirements already. If they take that next step and say, I'm now a certified volunteer, I know I've been reached out about cheerleading, t-ball, wee-ball. What if they want to just come in and exercise with their team when it's below below 30 degrees outside, or when it's pouring down rain, which we had a lot of this year, and you've got a lot of people. How are we gonna, and they get this at the school district a lot, is when we allow practice on the middle school and high school football ball fields when school is out, in the afternoons after school. We will have leagues that come into our online system and say, I want Saturday, from 1 to 5 for the rest of the year. I was the first one, so it's mine. How do we prevent that? Do we, you can only get it, and we don't know if it's going to be once a month or once every 2 months, but I think we've got a lot more desire than we have space. and so it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's probably too great for what space we got, being honest. I think we're going, but we got to utilize the space. I mean, that's.
Then my other concern is we are trusting that volunteer to do what they say they're doing it for. We get tons of phone calls. Can my baseball team practice in the gym? Can my football team practice in the gym? And the answer is always no. Because without someone walking in that gym to verify you're doing what you say you're doing, we don't know what you're doing. That make sense? I mean, you could say I'm going to go up there and shoot basketball, which is perfectly fine.
Right.
Next thing you know, we're actually taking infield because it's wet. The ball field's wet, and without an employee physically walking in the gym or someone physically looking at the TV monitor to check the camera system, you really don't know what's happening. And I know that, again, these are pure speculation, what if, but we have to think sometimes in that realm, because in the recreation world, we've seen a little bit of all of it.
So I'm going to suggest that, one, I think it's a great idea, so we figure that out, work session, and keep plowing through it. But in the interim, this is one of those situations where, I didn't know the gym was closed, so I'm 100% confident that you need to have an employee over there to match the hours. I think that's fair, that's equitable.
And I guess, what does it feel for the board? Does the board feel like we can afford another part-time person like Vern to manage the gym from 9 to 4, or something along those lines?
Are we talking about just on Saturdays? Because in the
No,
summer,
this right here, my goal was to have it open Monday through Friday during the summer. And my goal with the volunteer is it was 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, because somebody was here at the government center. Somebody's actually here. It wasn't open on the weekend. It's 9 to 4 when somebody's open Monday through Friday.
Well,
So not
we
on the
need
weekend.
2 part-time for that now, because we'll be over the 27 hours.
Okay.
Part-time.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to have more than one person, but the position itself, you're looking roughly around between $1,400 and $1,500 a month. for the slot. Just like at the golf course, we have 5 people that cover one spot, but it's still just one time slot. They just don't work every day in that slot.
Right.
It's $18,000 a year. I mean,
So I'm just to get the feel from the board. Is the board like, all right, we can make that investment, or we need to pursue the whole volunteer idea a bit more? So I guess that's what I know where you stand, but just to get the thoughts from the board members. So
I mean, we've got the facility and we're not using it. You know, and what I've seen on 49, it's well
jam up.
used.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and before they moved to 49, it was a lot of kids taking advantage of it and participating in it.
You can't have Vern back, by the way.
No, that's fine. Matt can find someone else
love
for
him down
the.
there.
He's good.
He's the biggest kid down there.
Well, if we're gonna open it, I know it's probably a separate subject, but if we're gonna open it and have staff there, you know, when it's not summertime, during baseball and football and inclement weather, when teams are wanting it, are we gonna start looking at something, maybe a rental, or are we gonna allow for teams to use it like we do free play for volunteers?
I'm not opposed to teams renting it and using it. If we have a staff member there, you can go in there and you can do certain things, throwing a spongy ball or a tennis ball. There's things you can do. You can take a 5 and 6 year old wee ball or t-ball team in there and throw a tennis ball or throw a sponge ball. There's things you can educate and teach at certain, but you got to have someone to make sure that doesn't turn into a.
Absolutely. I think protection of our equipment and our space is number one. So I wouldn't think, just personally, I wouldn't think anybody above 8 years old would be able to play ball in there, football, baseball, whatever, because probably don't want metal bats and hard balls
Right.
bouncing off the floor and walls and windows and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I mean, maybe it's an age limit on I agree. You could play catch in there and teach, you know, catching and pitching and that kind of stuff all day long, but I see how the kids are with the bats now. They're walking around popping them on the floor before they go. I can imagine our floor wouldn't be in shape and intact very long if we don't put some rules in place.
And I just went out to the Board of Ed website. I was looking at the career pathways, trying to see if sports medicine was there, like it is, I think, at Southwest or Central. But they have the health and PE electives, team sports, body sculpting, physical conditioning. So if there is a pathway, that is an opportunity for youth employment, work-based learning side as well, because we've already authorized that. And workforce development pays for that. So now you got free. And then you have a student that has an opportunity to go to work. And then for those seniors that are super seniors and already have the credits, they may be available right at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning to do this part. So one, definitely let's do the CV, and then let's talk to the Board of Ed, see if they have this as a pathway in any eligible students. And without question, you know, I'm a fan. Let's find an employee for that space.
I'm in favor of it. Just like I said, what is the rest of the board thought? So, like I said, just want to get open because, like I said, it was initially open. We got the computers in there for the kids, and then, like I said, it was a need on 49, so Vern went over there, and the gym's been vacant. I've gotten quite a few questions about it, and that's why I came up with if the board wasn't ready to make a big investment in an employee, we'll get some certified volunteers that was willing, you know, to manage the gym and give the kids something to do. So,
Is this something we want some firm numbers on for the next meeting?
you tell me what you need, Chairman, and we'll ask Jason to put it together, or Shannon.
Are
And
y'all prepared now?
I am.
To do what?
Oh, no. Oh, you're not supposed to be touching me.
Sorry. So if y'all are voting on the certified volunteer,
We
okay,
can do that, but we can't vote on.
on a new employee, we need to put on the next agenda.
okay. So do we vote for the volunteer, or we just hold that off for right now and to our next meeting?
I think we're in consensus for the most part that the idea is good. I'd like to see, you know, how we talked about, are we gonna grandfather in people? Are we gonna be able to get enough that we can do the training here? Are we gonna require them to have, like with sheriff's deputies, if we're gonna pay for all this, you know, you gotta give us a little bit of time to recoup some of our money? Or are we gonna say, if you go through 3 steps and we pay for it, and the 4th step you say I'm out, then you got to pay for it. I don't like to pay for people to try to do something if they're not serious about it. But I get what you're saying. They don't want to go through steps if they're
Right, they're not going to even sign up if they're not interested. So,
So what route we want to go? We want to Wayne?
Bring back more information.
But what information you need?
Won't we reach out to see, have you ever thought about reaching out to see who would be interested in doing this?
I got 5 guys that's already ready. I wouldn't bring it to you if I didn't have people ready. I got 5 guys. I got names. So what is I wanted to make sure I had names before I bring it up, and that nobody wanted to volunteer. So I came up with the steps and I shared it with them. And at this point, I got 5 guys that are willing to do it. Come on.
Again, I just want to make sure you really think about this when you're talking about the volunteers is, and I don't mean to be devil's advocate here, are these volunteers looking to benefit or are they looking to actually do community volunteering? There's 2 different things there.
Right.
There's 2 totally different things. Coaches volunteer in recreation because their kids play in recreation. You have very, 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 very few people volunteer when they don't have a kid in the program. There's some, but very few. So are these volunteers because I want to bring 6 guys and do what I want to do in my 2-hour span? Which I get that, and perfectly I understand that. Not a problem with that. But so are they volunteers, or are they just looking? That's my question. And I'm not judging these people. I have no clue who they are.
Right.
The route of an employee gets you cover more opportunity in everything. And what I would like to do is be able to bring you back in the next meeting to show you what it would cost from now to budget of 2021, and potentially look at hiring someone through then, and then come budget of 2021, you can decide what you want to do for 2021.
That's what I like.
And we can look at the certified volunteers. at
Because
that
if we're
time.
gonna put a paid employee to oversee it, we're more looking at opening the gym for free time, and then they can just
Control.
curtail
Right.
the 20 people, or and people can still
And if the
call
gym
and-
needs to
and
be
rent.
cut in half, if you need to say pickleball in this half, basketball in a half, based on the crowd that's in there, then you can do that. Just like with Levon, depending on the crowd over there, we can run whole court or chop it up, be playing 2 half courts. It all based on that person controlling the environment.
And still be able to reserve for
Yes.
the play you want,
Yes.
and bring, your.
Our kids have been home since last Friday. I'm only saying that you have an opportunity to meet some need over the next 2 weeks.
I'm gonna speak up on that one.
We can't have more than 10.
Yeah, I would, right now, I wouldn't advocate opening our gym for anybody right now, because everything we're told, stay home. We're not out of school to go party and go hang out at the park and go hang at the skating rink, so.
It becomes a feeding site. That's the other part of what
Right.
Vern is doing
But it
for
would
us
be
right now.
drive through, here's your plate, keep going, here's your plate, keep going.
And hopefully
I'm
by
not
this,
advocating bringing them in
Right.
and
Right.
playing right now.
and part of the original plans is for the summer, so hopefully, during those summer months, hopefully this corona's behind us and we're ready to move forward, so.
We didn't wash our hands of
We'll
it.
wash our hands of that one, and what we'll do is, so like what Matt proposed, and we'll bring that back at the next meeting and we'll revisit it.
Great.
Let's have a motion to postpone certified volunteer.
So we'll postpone the certified volunteer
Volunteer.
to a later
Okay.
date. How about that?
We're going to swap seats to keep this up. We have a motion, Commissioner Martin?
I
You
didn't
opposed
vote. I
it.
opposed it.
You opposed?
I would make a decision tonight, me personally, but
Do we have a second to postpone?
I second it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But I will.
Okay.
And I did.
Did I motion, Chairman?
I was wondering if we had a second. All right, any more discussion?
No more discussion, Chairman.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
opposed.
And then I think we're also going to add to the next meeting the discussion of
Sure.
possibility of an
Employee.
employee.
We don't need a motion on that, we just added. Department head. Mr. Douglas, you want to start us off tonight? The sheriff said you have something.
I might draw your attention to this man.
I just want to recognize our 2 deputies. We thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Because you're out there every day, and we just ask y'all to be very careful.
You might get away with speeding just a little bit more, that kind of takes your license.
That's great.
I'll keep that in mind.
You pull me over, I'm gonna suddenly have a fever.
Keep some water.
Yeah. No, we had you back there too.
Chairman, Board,
Done.
I'm not sure what I could start out with. I think everybody knows what we're going through right now. Our federal government has made their recommendations, and the recommendations are strict. Our State Department and our state government and local government are following those recommendations. I think this is the only way that we're going to be able to beat this. I feel that Middle Georgia is blessed that we don't have any positive cases right now, positive cases. I know there's some cases out there that have been tested and they're awaiting whether it is or not. But I think the state government here, our county government, is doing very well with cleanliness, washing our hands, keeping our distance. I think some joking, I think is good. But I really think that everybody is taking it in a serious mode. I know it is at the courthouse. Been there a couple times to talk with everybody. I try to make it in small groups. We came up today with a way to talk with our department heads, and it was a great idea to use the WebEx, and it worked very well. We actually talked for about 30 minutes of the procedures that we'd like to see out there in our departments. And Matt, could you hear us okay? I heard you tell somebody to shut up.
Uh-oh.
I think that's when the music or something was playing. I think somebody put... Was it? Oh, he put it on hold, I think. It sounded like elevator music. But I think that was the only glitch that we had. So I think we're going to be meeting again tomorrow. I think on a regular basis we'll be looking at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until we pass this crisis, and it is a crisis. We lost our 100th person in the United States about 2 hours ago. So there's plenty sick, and if anybody's got any questions, please call me. It's awful hard to seeing what's going on the underside of things, because there's a lot going on from DPH, from State Patrol. Everybody's involved. Everybody is doing something. And if people think that we're not doing anything, they ain't in the ball game. And that is the truth. So keep your eyes peeled on the media. The media is played it as high as it can go, but there is some good information out there. Go to our website on Facebook. Great information there. And the last post that I put on there was go to your CDC and go to what else did I put on there? I can't remember. Go to the DPH's website. Valuable stuff out there. A lot deeper than I'll ever know. But I got to thinking about this thing with the gyms and stuff like that. Does that come under the recreation policy that we close the gym until? I know they're over there. I know it was on the calendar to have this, but like the volunteer thing.
Well, that back there is a private rental,
Right.
like an enterprise kind of thing. So that's not our function.
I got you. All right. Even just simple things like this goes a long way. A long way. I don't know did you do this? Who did it? Excellent. Excellent. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's in it, and everybody's got to be in the game to win this thing. And we will win it. It's just going to take a little while. Please call me.
Mr. Risner, while we're on that, you want to throw you under the bus? we had an opportunity to listen to Governor Kemp today. And a lot of those ideas and all are a list of things that the state are asking us to do.
It all comes from the federal government, straight on down to the local. And that's how we're gonna win.
So, just a few of the things that he mentioned on that call today. They do now have independent test sites set up in all 18 Department of Public Health regions. We're in a region that's, I guess, centered around Macon, and so they do have testing available in all 18 regions now. They've doubled testing at the state lab. They're now up to $200 a day. He talked a lot about social distancing and hygiene, and particular emphasis on the elderly population, them being particularly at risk. The state does now have set up a COVID hotline, and that number, if anybody's interested, is 844-442-2681, and that's a place that folks can call for various information from the state. They are working on another facility up at Gypstick where they can house people. 27 affected counties now in Georgia, and we do have medical shipments now of medical supplies coming from a strategic national stockpile. One thing that I'll mention real quick, the governor mentioned that they've had 29 cases now of price gouging, and any of those can be reported to the Attorney General's office. One thing that I learned about last week when we were meeting over at the Senior Center about that AARP grant, the lady from the Community Action Agency said that they also manage a number of senior centers, one in Warner Robins. They had someone show up at the Senior Center, and the guy claimed that he could get COVID testing for the participants there at the Senior Center if they would, just provide name, address, phone number, date of birth, and social security number. He could take a swab and he'd get back to him on the results. And of course, it was all. Yeah. So fortunately, somebody caught on to it pretty quick. He was just trying to steal identities, and so it's sad to think that people would try to take advantage of the situation. But that's going on out there. So we just encourage everybody to be on the lookout for that. Let's see. The governor said at this point he has no intention to shut down the state's borders, and he is not issuing a blanket restriction on restaurants or a statewide curfew or anything of that sort. He said that's a local control issue, and he stressed that buy-in is key for everybody to really heed the warnings of the CDC and other entities, so that we can get through this with minimal number of cases. So.
He also made mention is, the emergency room is the last place you need to go unless you absolutely have to be there. So many people resort to going to the emergency room, and that's where a lot of this is, passed along. If there's somebody infected and you go and you weren't infected, well, so they encourage you to call your medical provider so that you could make arrangements on the best plan of action to make sure what your needs were. But very good. Mr. Pelkey?
Good evening.
Kind of coincide with what Don was saying about the virus, being that we're under emergency declaration from the governor. Usually utilities do not cut off during situations like this, and I know Macon Water Authority, Tri-County are not, so I was sharing with Jason, I'd like to just, with your blessing, to waive the cutoff for this month.
Please.
Does that need to be a vote or an administrative?
Administrative or
action?
vote?
I mean, y'all can't vote on it right now.
Well, because I
If you
mean,
can do
yeah.
it through administrative, then that's fine, but it can't be a vote and comments.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not voting yes, but
Next meeting if we have to, right?
if we have to ratify it in the
Okay.
next one, that'd be great.
Right. Administrative at this point.
We got a unanimous consensus.
That's administrative. We'll throw him under the bus. It don't work.
Right.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey, that was good.
Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Goins?
Yes, sir, we got a couple 4 things here.
I'll try to beat Don's 5 minutes. Feeding with the school, I'll let y'all know that I had 6 of my staff members, some from part-timers from the golf course, some from Parks and Recreation that are helping the school board. We meet, 3 of them meet at Clifton Ridge, 3 of them meet at Gray Elementary. They get on school buses and they're delivering food every morning for a few hours. Let y'all know that. We're helping out with that. Mr. Tommy Richter-Fellner is on the advisory committee. He is moving to Butts County, so you're going to need to find someone to represent you for the advisory committee. And I think Daryl Grant is your district.
Right.
He's up this year for, Rick is too, but Rick's leaving, so that's
Okay.
going to, he's up this year. I don't know if you want to reappoint him.
Does he want to continue to serve?
He does, yes, sir.
Okay.
So that's something we put on the next agenda. Just want to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Another topic of conversation, we don't need, I really don't want to talk about it tonight, but I want y'all to be brainstorming on this. We're going to have a conversation early next week on what we're going to do about rec ball, if we're going to extend it, as most counties around the state are. I got about 25 emails a day from just a big email group where people are sharing with each other, and a lot of parts of recs are doing a lot of different things. I know our school system has effectively gone through the 31st, maybe further, potentially depending on what happens. Anyway, be thinking about that. That is a conversation we're going to have early next week.
And I guess back with that, please be ready to share recommendations, from other counties and Parks and Recreation Associations, stuff like that, please.
Yes, sir. Last thing, and again, I don't know if this can be an administrative thing. If it needs to be voted on, that's fine. But what I would like to do is invert the golf course. What I mean by that is the back 9, which is 10 through 18, the front 9, which is 1 through 9, basically, we're going to just change the numbers. So instead of 10 off on 1 coming up 120 Gray Highway, you're going to, number 1 will be going down Gray Highway. The reason we're interested in doing that, me and Kevin's been brainstorming on this for a while, is most golf courses you finish at the clubhouse. If you've been out the golf course, number 18 is a ways away from the clubhouse, actually hidden. You can't even see the clubhouse from the 18 green. What we want to do is just invert the course so that you're actually finishing at the clubhouse, which is number 9 now. That's it. No cost, no different scorecard company that we deal with, so they'll give us free cards to get us through the rest of the year at no charge. So I don't know if that's something we need to vote on or something you just give me thumbs up and say, go ahead.
Any feedback from your members?
I have talked to a handful of members, and they actually like the idea of, because I was finishing at the clubhouse.
I think that's administrative myself.
Yep.
I would think.
I'm
Again,
good with
it doesn't change the play of the course. It doesn't.
No cost to
No.
us. So.
As a golfer, you like that?
I do.
All right.
I think the first hole a lot better.
Well, the driving range, just if you visualize our course, you have the driving range right here, and then you have number 10. And we're looking at putting a putting green here, doing some renovation, putting a putting green here, and then you would tee off on 1. Where now you got the driving range and all that, then you have the drive over here to number 1. So now it would be driving range, go putt, and then you get on number 1 and go, which is how most golf courses are designed. So, anyway, that's it. Thank y'all.
So, Matt, there was your next to last item. Does that also need to be placed on the agenda? I can't remember what it was, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
The rec ball advisory committee.
The advisory committee thing needs to be on the agenda. But
And then the rec, I guess extending the season, do you want that on the agenda?
well, we're going to probably have to make a decision before the meeting. So I don't know if we need to do a call meeting next week, or if it's just
I
do.
think that's an administrative
That's fine.
consensus too. We didn't have to have a
Yeah.
call meeting.
I think there was something else on your list, though. I was wondering if you wanted it on the next agenda. What was before the golf course?
We got to add an employee, we got,
Feeding? No. That's it. There's 4 things.
It's for to vote your person in for the
Yeah,
advisory.
that needs to be on there. And then rec ball, feeding, informing about it in the golf course. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Lowe?
I'm fine, I'm just glad it's not raining.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
wish it would rain and get some of the
Pollen,
Yeah.
yeah, pollen.
Any citizens tonight like to come forward and speak? Citizens?
I have a question related to something Jason said.
Come to the,
Come on, introduce yourself.
It's really more for my benefit than there's the answer to it. Concerning the meeting, I guess you had with Governor Kemp. Right now, you said he's not closing the borders. Does each governor have the right to do that for their own state?
I don't know the answer to that. That's a good question. I'm not real sure.
He's not closing Georgia.
Pardon?
He's not closing Georgia. He said we
Right.
just all work together, and he said 14 days, you know, I think the 14 days was to get just people to cooperate for 14 days. There's a good possibility we could get around this without it lasting through August.
Yeah. I just have
Isn't
a
that
daughter
what the
2 states
14 days
away.
Right,
And-
and she'll try to come in.
I might be able to help with that just a little bit. With the governor, with him being governor now, he used to be Secretary of State. He's come back to where he was Secretary of State. You've got so many things that you've got to go through with taking bodies across the state line and this and that. And that's where this is coming in. There's a lot more stuff that we realize about our state line and crossing the state line. That's probably where that's coming from. And it involves other entities that we don't, deal with day by day. A lot of others do though.
Okay.
Maybe coming up with something with extradition or something too also.
Right.
But it all goes back to the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
All right.
Anyone else? Commissioner Kitchens, you want to start us off tonight?
Yeah, I didn't, I have a little bit of an update similar to what y'all were talking about. We had a conference call with Senator Loeffler and Jack, and I can't remember his last name. He's the head of the infectious disease department at CDC. And basically reiterated exactly what Kemp and President Trump is saying is right now the most crucial thing is the 14-day stay at home, don't go anywhere, don't go into public spaces, bars, restaurants, drive-throughs, that kind of stuff is the best way to go. But if we adhere to the 14 days now, we shorten that curve by so much by not extending this whole issue. So they took some question and answers right at the end of it. They gave their thoughts on everything, and it was exactly what y'all were talking about, the 14-day period now of anything you can do in your personal life to minimize your exposure to other people helps the situation altogether. Don't panic, don't hoard, things like that. That the supply lines have not been affected. They were affected the first couple of days because everybody goes out and buys and they have normal shipping processes, so that the grocery stores are not in peril of not having toilet paper tomorrow or ever. They're going to be back, so you don't have to go buy it all today. You get what you need for the next day or two. But the other thing was that they had questions about the testing, and Jason made a comment about the portable testing sites that are coming about, but also the number of tests that were available. And there was some, he went into a little bit about the misnomers about we didn't have enough tests when we started. Well, what happened was that they had the testing material, they had the test, and some of the test results they were getting back were getting not false positives, but they weren't sure that the testing was showing the timeline of when people were getting sick. So they couldn't move to Plan B to shorten that curve without better test results. So they decided to go to a different test, which caused another problem, and they went to private companies to help with the testing and this kind of stuff and getting the test created. Then the biggest problem was the supply side of a lot of the parts of the test are coming from outside of the country or coming from other parts of the country, and that seemed to be an issue was the travel to get parts of the test that actually put it together so that they could administer the test. All that has been, I won't say worked out. None of them are happy with the results of not having test day one, but they're happy with having to change course in the middle of the decision and what we've got now going forward. that they're pleased and impressed with the number of tests that we have and the backup supply that we have going forward. So we should start seeing a lot of testing in the North Central Health District now, the 13 counties around us. The downside of that is we're likely to see more positive, more people with it. But they're saying, don't freak out. They may have it, we just don't know it. And then when we know it, it becomes a freak out part. But yeah, the 14 days is the main thing right now, is to self-quarantine as much as you can and only go where you need to go. And that will benefit everybody, I think. So that's all I got, Chairman.
Commissioner Pitt?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And I'm sure you did tell the board, but the last meeting I wasn't here. I was invited to attend Railroad Day on Capitol Hill with the organization called Go Rail. And it's a group that promotes the benefits of rail, investment in it, the products being moved in it, and being a member of ACCG's Economic Development Transportation Committee, the chairperson of that committee. I was invited to go with them. It was a great event. Had the opportunity to meet some congressmen, Congressman Jody Heiss, Congressman Hank Johnson, as well as Congressman Doug Collins, that's actually running for Senate. And he joked around about coming to Macon in Middle Georgia real soon. And he was actually coming Wednesday, but with this corona stuff, he kind of postponed his trip. But it's a great event. Had a chance to meet a lot of other people in the rail industry, and I'm hoping to continue to develop upon some of those relationships. Like we need a rail spur, and hopefully we'll see what comes upon with that. And then this past week, I was able to go to Tifton, the ACCG, to an economic development class, and just to share with the commissioners the importance of regionalism and how it's very important, and just ask that we continue to invest in the Joint Development Authority. We're already a member of that organization, and they gave examples about how Baxter ended up coming to the location they're at right now, and how it's a regional approach, and how it all worked together, and it benefited in like millions of dollars of investments and thousands of jobs. So I just want to encourage commissioners to remember regionalism, and regionalism, as well as partnership. It goes a long way. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Robinson?
I'm looking forward to the maintenance list on all our vehicles. First meeting in April. I think we can, once we have that in hand, we can resolve several problems. Thank you.
Commissioner Martin?
Shared some grant information with Matt and Jason a week or two ago. Trails, parks, and some other stuff. Hoping that we can make applications soon on some of those. Want you guys to look at it, and I think Matt and those guys will come up with some good opportunities. We talked about some expansion of services some time ago, and with new sports coming on board, there may be opportunities to leverage the resources to do that. Also, our vendors that we're using for online pay, if there's an opportunity to go and talk to them now about waiving that, so our citizens can take advantage of our online platforms for paying water bills and things of that nature. Let's do that. Let's at least ask the question, and if they can't, let's consider, something that makes that transaction back there with our tax folks and tag folks, because they're engaging people every day. They don't get the luxury that we get to not exchange, and money, is just as contaminated as anything else, and they're touching it daily. So when I sent the email out last week to the board and to the department heads, really want us to come up with some solutions online that we can use. And I don't know what our court system is doing, but I know birth certificates and things of that nature, if we can apply online too, let's figure that out. I know it's 14 days, but everything we hear in the news is saying July and August. So ask the question, and let's put some more online platforms in place.
I do have one more thing, Mr. Chairman. One more thing, and I want to thank the commissioners, thank Shannon, thank Jason. Commissioner Robinson showed me some information that was in our box that we did win the County of Excellence Award for our telemedicine center. So I want to thank the board for supporting that, and thank the community for hopefully taking advantage of it. And so like I said, real kudos to Shannon for all her hard work and putting that package together, and I know we won, so thank you.
Right.
Anything on that? Nothing?
Nothing.
Well, I need a motion to adjourn and go into executive session for personnel and real estate.
Mr. Chairman, make the motion is go to executive session for personnel and real estate.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it, thank you. I coughed in my